Welcome friends, welcome to Crafty Creations. Today we'll be making a sunflower on the Unique in the Creek large board. We're doing the roll petal. This is a roll petal right here. So I'm trying to figure out what I like for the placement. We'll be adding leaves. I'm just trying to figure out how many leaves I will need. I think we'll need about 8 and the rest in roll petals. Okay, so I hope you will enjoy this. Let me begin by showing you the placement of my zip ties. I am using all the holes for row 2 and 8 on row 3, 8 on row 4, as well as 8 on row 5. Okay, here's the sunflower center. Sorry, I have to grab that. So there's the center. So let's begin by making the leaves first. So I didn't make any leaves, so I thought I'd show you. Right here is a 10 by 10 cut green mesh. I did wood burn this to reduce the fraying. And what I think I'm going to be doing with this for leaves is the Wreath petal. Wreath petal looks good on as leaves, I think. So the Wreath petal, you'll need 2 clips for that. Okay, so all I gotta do here now is put this curved side up with the factory edges top and left, and I turn it this way in like a diamond, but with my factory edges top left, bottom right. So I'm just gonna grab this corner and put it down over here, and I make sure here when I do the Wreath petal, I line up the tips up over here, line up the tips, both ends, and clip it. So this way the tips will be tipping, will be pointy, and this is the Wreath petal again. So what I'm gonna do here now is scrunch from here to here. Pinch, keep, and scrunch. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this up, my right side, flip the one leaf up, take off the clips, and line up the tips. They line up, and pinch these together. Here you can put a rubber band, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a 4-inch zip tie. So this is the Wreath petal. Some people call it there's different names of this petal. There's pointy petal or whatever. So but we refer to it on Unique in the Creek terms, the Wreath petal. Okay, so let's do seven more like that. Finish them up, and we'll just slip them into the board. That is what you do to get your precise pinpoint, the points, but I'm not going to be doing that here. So I'm just going to make the pin petal. So not all leaves are the same anyways, so just going to make it this way. See, give it more interest. All right, so we got all our green petals made, green leaves. And now I'm going to be adding, actually no, I'll show you the roll petal now. The roll petal in the yellow. This is the most easiest petal you could make that there is out there. Most easy. And with this, you'd be needing the inside of a mesh roller. See that? That's the inside part of the mesh. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this curved side up. This is 10 by 10. Actually, it's a little less than, it's 10.5 by 10.5. And so what I do is I put it curved side up with the manufactured edges, top and bottom, and I churn it to a diamond. This is referred to as a diamond because it's now sitting this way. And so what I'm gonna do is grab my mesh roller. I could put something heavy over here for now, just to keep it, rolling in onto you. And I'm gonna grab my mesh roller and put my corner where I think the middle is, which is probably right there. Eyeball it. You don't need to be precise with this. It's just use your eyes and sort of measuring here. And so I'm just gonna roll this up to that tip. I'm just gonna roll it, and roll it. And now you're gonna have this flapping around. What you're gonna do is hold it right there. Hold that part while you pull out your mesh roller. You keep holding this. Put that aside. And now what you're gonna do is put this down. See that? And pinch. And I flip this over here. Left or right, it doesn't matter. I'm right-handed, that's why I'm flipping this over to this side. And flip. So this way, these two are together. And so when you look at it, they're not really lined up at the tips here. What you're gonna do is just pull this down a little bit so these will be lined up now. Just like that. And here now you can put a rubber band, but I'm gonna be adding my 4-inch zip tie. Again, an inch up where the fold is. So this is referred to as the roll petal. So that's the roll petal. Again, let's make a couple more. So I'll just slip the petals into their zip ties and zip them up, and that'll be that. Pull that out. Oops, you see what happens when you don't hold that? Okay. Press down, pinch, and flip. Okay, make sure they're lined up. And then you put in your zip tie. So I'm just gonna put that off and throw it off into the bin and do another one. So I'll be okay. So there's the roll petal. Throw that off to the side and we'll grab our board. Again, Unique in a Creek large board. So flip that over so you can see we have all the zip ties on row 2 and 8, 8, and 8. So 3, 4, 5 has 8 each of the zip ties. Altogether, how many did I say? 56? I think I said 56. Okay, So I managed for this board was used for a different thing, and there are little G's written down, and that's where I'll be adding my green petals, where the G's are, and the rest that are in between I'll be adding the roll petals. Okay, so let's do that. So let's add our, where should we begin? So this is the top. I still begin. Okay, so we'll add our petal where the G's are, and then we'll zip that up. Where's my, I'm gonna zip up my zip tie with my needle nose. I'm just gonna grab the tail end of the zip tie, press it, hold it like this and squeeze and pull side to side while you're holding your petal, and then keep squeezing, keep pulling until it can't anymore. So this way I make sure my zip tie is inside of that zip tie. Okay, so that'll be that all the way around for the greens. So we're skipping 3 here and we're adding our greens. Again, we're skipping 3 and adding our green. Somehow I love I love the look of my petals, my leaves, when I do a sunflower. Go with more than, I used to do 3, like 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, sort of thing for leaves. But now I seem to like the look of the leaves going almost all the way around, because it looks more full. Okay, so I'll just go ahead with the green leaves. Make sure I'm not zipping up the side, the zip ties. Pull them up like I did this one. Oh, that's good. So keep going. Okay, and continue on with our petals. Just like that. All right. Keep going. I counted that I needed 56 roll petals for this project, but it might be less, but we'll see at the end. Since I'm adding 8 green ones, might be less, might be like 48. So there we go. So there's our green leaves. We'll cut those off. Whoops, that one flying. Alrighty. Snip, snip, snip. When I cut my zip ties with nippers, I have to explain this part. I open it up like this, and then I put the nippers right down to the knob of the zip tie. Just right down in there. Not like that, because if I cut it like that, the next layer of mess I put in there will scratch it and make it all, you know, it'll fray a lot, and that's no good. And what you can do to avoid that is you can cut your zip tie tail all the way down in there, and that's not going to happen. Okay. And that's not going to make the next layer mesh fray. Okay, now the zip ties that we skipped is where our roll petal is going to go. So again, All right, so we'll cut the tails off. So that's all in there. That's just row 2 that we just did. And now we're going on to row 3. We're adding 1 petal each per zip tie. So that's altogether 8 petals. 8 roll petals. Okay. Just put in that zip tie in there and zip it up. And because this petal is under there, and now this one wants to roll sideways. See that? Seems to want to roll sideways. My zip tie is facing me. What you could do is just turn it around and it'll lay right for you. Good tip, good tip. Continue on. See that? That's not sitting right for me, so I'm just gonna lift it up like that. And it looks good. So when I add my petals, as you can see, there's a big, huge gap in the middle right here now. There's a big, huge gap. But the next row will cover that up. And it'll cover the zip ties. And that's how good these boards are. It covers up the next, the layer, the board. I love that. Here we go. So, this one is sideways a little bit. Okay, this one's turning on me. There we go. So we used 32 10 by 10s cuts, and when we add these 8 in here now, we're using 40. And next row 48, so because there's 8 zip ties, and then yeah, 56 petals altogether. So a roll and a half of mesh is what I'm using here. So because there's usually 34 pieces in a row, or sometimes 36 if we're lucky. So you see now when I add this one, it's gonna lay over what we need to cover up, which is this part here. We don't need to see the zip ties or the board. So when I add this one in there now, it's gonna cover that up. So that's a good thing, because when we make a flower wreath on Unique and Creek boards, the main thing you want to look out for is to cover up the board and the zip ties. That's the main thing for us creators. You don't want to see that board. And then the next layer will cover up a little bit of what you see in there. Okay. Is this covering up our mechanics? Okay. And we continue on. Here's there we go. On to the last row, which is row 5. We'll be adding 8 petals per zip tie, I think. Let's see how well that covers. Oh yeah, it's good. So there we go. Again, you can stir my zip tie inside the zip tie. Okay, just like that. And I think I made one too many of the petals. It's all right. There we go. Okie dokie. So when you're adding your petals on the 5th row here now, you'll notice that it's a little bit cramped up in there. You just gotta squeeze your petal, this side of the petal in there, and just like this one right here, this last one, I just need to squeeze that in there and press it down, and it'll sit right and rip it up. And that's good right there. Okay, we'll cut those off. So now we can add our center in there. You see, I made too many. Like, I counted 56 petals, I think. Yeah. So that looks good. I like that look. Me likey. Okay, so let's add our sunflower center in there. Turn it around here when I'm done. How you? So when you feel like I feel like when I add my sunflower center, it doesn't seem to sit right. What I do is I put some hot glue in there to make it just sit right, and it won't move around. But I didn't plug in my glue gun, so I won't do that. All right, so I'm just gonna twist that around. You see where I added the pipe cleaners? We need to add our hanger. Grab a zip tie. These 2 holes that are sitting right side by side, those are the hanging holes, so that's where I'll be adding my zip tie. And when you hear the zips, means your zip tie is on the right way. So here's our project for today. For these centers here, these brown ones, these things, the brown thing here, this, I don't know what it's called. They seem to come off sometimes. They just touch them, they come off. What you could do is probably spray it with Mod Podge spray, and they'll be good.